Time for another ice fishing report. And today we've got Cody Hill of Chill Guide Service with us. Thanks, Cody, for taking some time to chat.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
So, were you able to get out this weekend? Like, did you get out and test some ice and try to catch some fish? What was your weekend like?
I got out Saturday local. I'm out of the Pelican Rapids area, and I stayed pretty close to home Saturday. I've been hearing some reports that one person, we got 10 inches on a lake, so we went out there. We found 10 inches near shore. And once you got past the break, it dropped to 8 almost instantly.
Sure.
So please don't get a false sense of security that, hey, we got 10 inches of ice. Send it. We found 8 pretty quick. So we hugged some main breaks, found some fishy areas on the map. I drilled a ton of holes. There's a lot of solid 8 inches. I didn't open my rod locker.
Really?
I used the live scope. I searched around and I didn't find fish, but I drilled a lot of holes. We did have 8 inches, and I covered probably a mile and a half on the lake. That we were pretty solid. It was clear, solid ice, no flooding. Even if we drilled near our rig, we decided we were kind of getting frustrated, so we shipped out, went to a different lake. I could have used a jet ski in my spot.
Really?
Yes. I won't name lakes. I don't like to name lakes for the protection of them. But this was a lake that nobody's going to get down there without hightailing it around or knowing somebody, because there was probably a quarter mile of the lake open. Not what we were. As we got closer, walking, pulling our stuff, we actually stopped pulling our stuff and walked almost an eighth of a mile, quarter of a mile to get down to the shoreline. And it was like, those are some pretty swans.
Out in the middle.
All over. And
all over
at us. I bet you there was 20, 30 swans out there, and they were happier than heck. But we decided to call it a day on Saturday after that, kind of being frustrated. Everybody has those days. I have those days. And Sunday, I went to another lake. I went a little bit further north that I was at last week. Very long, skinny lake. We had 10.5 to 11.
Okay.
Same situation, very clear ice. It was something unique I've never seen before. In the morning, it was 1 degree. Ice was booming, and the snow was tacky.
Yeah.
At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it was ready to blow away. And we didn't put our cleats on because we got snow.
Right.
We almost fell on our face so many times it was like a cartoon. So don't forget those ice cleats.
I like it. Yep.
Learn from us.
Yep. What were you able to find any fish on that lake?
We found a ton of fish.
Did you? Good.
The area we were in was just a big basin. No structure, no weeds. It's just a giant flat that's about a quarter mile long. It's kind of shaped like the tip of your thumb for the shape of the lake.
Yep.
It gets deep quick in a giant flat, and they just roamed and they stayed underneath us all day. No trophies, but a few 9.5, almost 9 3/4 bluegills. Some very nice eater crappies at that 11.5. You and I are both in it that we practice selective harvest. We had 11 fish in the bucket for the 2 of us. Came back, filleted them up, and we fed 4 people.
There you go. Yeah,
so,
for sure. What? And
I'm fresh fish fry.
Yeah, awesome. And I'm not asking for secrets, but if you got to keep secrets, you got to keep them. I respect that. But any advice if somebody is, okay, I find it did any presentation or lure or style, was it live bait, was it plastics, was it like did something work better than others?
We brought some wax worms with. My minnows died overnight, so I didn't get to put a tip up out. And with it being 1 degree, it didn't really hurt my feelings.
Right.
We did, my buddy that was with was using a 5mm tungsten with a bigger plastic, and he played with the color. He went from blue to, I think it was white or pink, and he went from a lot of bites to catching regularly. I was trying to target some bigger fish, so I was using like a Euro tackle, Z-Viber, jigging it up and down. Tip with that, I put a soft plastic that was pink on the treble hook on the back, and it's increased my hook sets.
Really?
They're coming up and when they're not slamming the lure, they'll come up and pick on it. And I've gotten a lot more bites since I put that little plastic on.
Cool.
So just a tip to don't think outside the box.
Right.
But I used some like jigging wraps, some spoons, everything like that. Everything worked. We did have a little bit better luck if we increased our jig size, which was kind of surprising.
Sure.
I was using a 4, he was using a 5. He was doing better for quantity and some size. Like I said, our biggest was probably about 9.5, 9.75. They got released last week. My biggest was 10.25 on the same lake.
Okay.
So we practice selective harvest, let those big ones go to reproduce, and yeah, we kept a whopping 10 bluegills and 1 crappie, and we had a nice fish fry. Otherwise, tips: jig up above those schools. Everybody that uses a flasher, you're gonna see that mark come up to bite. But with using the live scope, and I'm gonna use my screen here, that we're jigging here, and this fish is coming this way.
Yep.
And Eric, you'll vouch for this. It'll look like the mark is coming this way.
Right.
Because this cone is over here. You're looking at, depending on your depth, about 8 feet wide, so 4 feet each side of you. And that fish will come. We're having a lot of fish just doing this, staying 4, 5 feet off bottom. We're in 20 feet, coming over to hit our jig this way, not necessarily coming up. But if you're looking at a traditional flasher, you're thinking they're coming from the bottom. So you're going to stay down there, jigging here, when most of our big fish are up here. And then when they come in, you're going to have, oh, shoot, they're up above me.
Right.
So as you know, a lot of people know crappies feed up, a lot of other fish. So it's not a bad idea to get it 2 to 3 feet above the mark. And you'll find out that they're actually just doing this.
Coming in from the sides.
Yes.
Cool. All right.
That is the one thing right now that I'm noticing hardcore. The fish that are underneath, yeah, you'll get them, but it's these fish that are the most active.
Sure. Yeah, there's a difference between finding fish and finding active feeding fish. So that's I totally get what you're saying there. All right. So if somebody wants to fish with you, if somebody's going to come up to the area, are you booking trips? Do you have openings?
I got some select dates open. You can reach out to me. Social media is a great feature. Hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, Chill Guide Service. Again, Cody Hill.
All right. Well, thanks for taking the time. Thanks for sharing some tips, and hopefully we'll get to chat again soon.
See you, buddy.